So today we'll be getting some interesting things concerning AJ Styles and The Undertaker. AJ Styles and The Undertaker stole the show at WrestleMania with their first ever Boneyard Match. The cinematic Boneyard Match was truly amazing and breathtaking. From the visuals to the storytelling to the overall match, it was pretty much perfection for the most part. Now that several weeks have passed, both The Undertaker and AJ Styles are giving their thoughts on how everything turned out and even talking about some canceled ideas as well. The Undertaker recently appeared on WWE's The Bump and gave a brief summary on how the Boneyard Match came to be. Undertaker had this to say: "We really got lucky considering all the circumstances and all the limitations we had to put on WrestleMania. We got lucky being able to do this. Obviously, when I agreed to have a match with AJ Styles at WrestleMania, obviously we envisioned it being in the ring at Raymond James Stadium. But just where AJ went with his promos, this turned out to be the best case scenario because he crossed lines that no one ever crossed. He went places that no one's ever been, as far as cutting promos and building up to a match." That's true. That's something we discussed during the feud between AJ Styles and The Undertaker. AJ was crossing lines in his promos like we've never seen anyone cross before with Undertaker. The way he was calling out The Undertaker by his real name, calling out his wife, it was just all things that we've never seen any superstar do to The Undertaker. This was probably Undertaker's most personal build-up to a feud in quite some time. So due to the unique way that AJ Styles was calling out The Undertaker, that opened up the doors for WWE to have a unique match where The Undertaker was going to get revenge on AJ Styles for everything he said. AJ's promos were so real and personal that it even bothered Undertaker's wife, Michelle McCool. Michelle recently spoke to the New York Post to promote The Undertaker's Last Ride documentary, and she was asked about her reaction to AJ's promos. Here's what Michelle had to say. "When that came up with AJ and the first night on Monday Night Raw, that he really went in deep on us, Mark, Undertaker, had texted me and said, 'Just letting you know, things are pretty stiff tonight with this promo, from what I hear.'" The promo that Michelle is referring to is the AJ Styles promo on how Michelle was using Undertaker and was going to run him into the ground and make him a broke-down old man. Michelle followed up with these comments: "I was not expecting all that. AJ gave, and I love AJ. I love his family. I love his wife. I texted his wife and said, 'Look, you know I love y'all, but he's kind of making me hate him right now. He's doing his job because I kind of want to punch him in the face.'" It got to the point that Michelle even wanted to appear in the match to help put AJ Styles away. Michelle had this to say about appearing during the match: "Come WrestleMania, I was like, can I please show up? I could have covered him in dirt. I could have done a lot of things." So that's one denied pitch right there. Michelle wanted to make a cameo during the match, but her idea was turned down. This is a great time to remind you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. A really large percentage of our viewers are not even subscribed to the channel. So take a quick second to click that subscribe button so you won't miss any of the daily videos. You definitely don't want to miss any of them. Let's get back into the story. Another major issue and problem with the outcome of the Boneyard Match was AJ Styles and how his return was handled. We just finished seeing The Undertaker bury AJ Styles at the end. Then a few weeks later, he just walks out on Raw and acts like nothing ever happened. This is some very poor writing for AJ Styles' return, and you literally just wasted so much potential with AJ's return. We could have had a broken down version of AJ Styles' return after WrestleMania. Maybe a version of AJ Styles that had PTSD from the events of the Boneyard Match, and show us the events of how he was able to dig himself out of where he was at. It could have been a borderline Undertaker Bray Wyatt character changing moment for AJ Styles. We could have seen his entire mental state completely shift after everything that happened to him at WrestleMania. What happened to AJ Styles at WrestleMania is quite the dramatic event that not a lot of people go through in their lives. So it would have made a lot of sense to see him so broken and change from what just happened to him. There was literally so much you could have done and changed in the character, but WWE decided to go with nothing at all. AJ Styles just walked out on Raw as himself as completely unmoved from what happened to him at WrestleMania. And AJ himself even agrees with this concept. AJ Styles was furious about his lackluster return. AJ had this to say during his stream about how he envisioned himself returning after the WrestleMania match. The return could have been more. I've heard people talk about, well, I mean, you kind of just wasted it. AJ Styles was buried alive, and he could have came back as a different character, in a different mood, a different look. Something different about AJ Styles. He came back, and he was exactly the same as before he got buried, so I'm with you. AJ went on to say that he feels like he was rushed back so soon in order to stack up the Money in the Bank card, but that he's still unhappy with how everything played out. Styles made it clear that he wanted a do-over. He followed up with these comments. I wish we could have waited. I think if times would have been different, that would have been something that we went with. So interesting view there by AJ Styles himself. He thinks if everything was normal, that WWE probably would have taken the route of a dark and twisted return for his character after WrestleMania. But since everything is a mess right now, his return was wasted at Money in the Bank. However, there was a few seconds in the Money in the Bank match that really spoke volumes. This moment was when AJ Styles was walking down the hall and spots a picture of The Undertaker on the wall. AJ completely freezes up for a moment and just stares at the picture in fear before walking over to a nearby room. Little did AJ know that he was actually opening the door to Undertaker's room. AJ froze up again as he looked inside the Undertaker's themed room and was then attacked by Aleister Black. That brief moment there with the picture and the room actually showed us that AJ Styles was somewhat affected by the match with The Undertaker. After seeing what The Undertaker did to him at WrestleMania, it looks like Undertaker implemented that fear and respect back into AJ Styles. So instead of running his mouth about The Undertaker, AJ Styles just freezes up at the sight of Taker now. So that's at least some sort of sign that the Boneyard match had a permanent impact on AJ Styles and his character. But it's such a huge missed opportunity by WWE. They could have really capitalized on that and gave us a version of AJ Styles that we've never seen before. Just come back from WrestleMania as a whole new person, and it'll even serve as a nice fresh start for AJ Styles. Reports were all claiming that AJ Styles didn't want to come back with a new character, but he would be one of his favorites to win the Money in the Bank match. AJ Styles was one of the favorites to win the match, but AJ ended up fumbling with the briefcase, and Otis picked up the win. So this also brings up the question of, where does AJ Styles go from here? There was no new character change and no big Money in the Bank win for him either. So we'll have to see what's in store for AJ Styles in the future. What are your thoughts on this situation and the comments from AJ Styles, Undertaker, and Michelle McCool? Leave your comments, don't forget to subscribe with notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.